This is the 2020 GMC Sierra 1500 with the Elevation trim. Basically, this is an optics package with a monochrome look with a black grille and vertical recovery hooks and 20-inch gloss black painted aluminum wheels. This is also the double cab, the most popular configuration, and most importantly for this review, this has the new inline 6-cylinder Duramax diesel engine. So I have this Sierra Elevation with the new inline 6-cylinder diesel engine. So I always save up jobs when I have one of these. Look at this minty fresh bed in the back. I hope I don't scratch it too much. This is not the new composite bed that they have at General Motors. So let's load it up and then we'll tell you all about the new Duramax. Off to the dump. Broken wheelbarrow. Why, I don't know. All right, loaded up. Now I do have a little old Tacoma pickup truck and I have been kind of saving this job to do this. So, you know, this is pretty light duty stuff for a full-size pickup, especially with a diesel engine, but hey, showbiz, let's go. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. Okay, first things first, let's start up this inline Duramax diesel engine and see how noisy it is in the cabin. I have just this microphone on here. I'll rev it up a bit. Now you can hear a little bit of diesel sound. There's no fan on, no radio on. Then we'll get going. And I would say, there we go. Under acceleration, you hear more of that diesel typical sound. This engine is not as quiet as the Ford engine that they put in the F-150 about 2 years ago. They have a diesel engine now available, and RAM is back with the Ecodiesel. And I would say that I'll kind of rank them on comfort and noise level. The Ford easily is the smoothest diesel engine I have ever driven in any vehicle. It is remarkably quiet. But overall comfort and interior sort of amenities, I would give it to the RAM, and this is a nice sort of in-between. So we'll get more on the inside of this new Sierra in a moment, talking about the amenities on the inside. Let's talk about the engine, because that's really what we're doing here today. The truck has been out for about a year, so this is the latest from General Motors, the inline Duramax 3-liter, single turbo, but a variable geometry, meaning it gives you better torque at low RPM and amazing torque as well. And just as I mentioned, talking about noise level and what have you, this is kind of in the middle as well when it comes to torque. So the new Ford Powerstroke is 440 pound-feet of torque. This inline 6-cylinder is 460, and the Champ, the best in class, is the new Ecodiesel from RAM at 480 pound-feet of torque. But this has the most horsepower, 277 horsepower. But anybody that knows anything about trucks and anything about diesel power plants, you don't want horsepower, you want torque. And so this is a very useful amount. 460 pound-feet of torque is a lot. Now this is also different because they went with an inline 6-cylinder engine. They didn't go with a V6 like they did at Ford and Ram. And it has inherent benefits. One of them is smoothness. An inline 6-cylinder engine doesn't need balance shafts. It's inherently smooth. It's a durable design. If you know anything about Chevrolet and GMC trucks, for decades they had inline 6-cylinder engines, gasoline however, but now we have it as a diesel, and it's a proven formula. BMW, Mercedes, and others have had inline 6-cylinders for years, and now in this. Now peak torque comes on at 1250 RPM. That is just above idle. And that makes this truck, when you don't have anything in the back, really quite quick. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a 0 to 100 km/h run and just see how fast it is. Okay, we're stopped here now, and that's one thing I should point out. This diesel has start-stop technology, all done to affect fuel efficiency, and that's one of the reasons why you would buy this truck. All right, we'll lift off the brake, get the engine started. I have my stopwatch here, 3, 2, by the way, I'm in 4x2, so just rear-wheel drive. 3, 2, 1, and away we go. Left some rubber there. 80, 90, 100 kilometers an hour in 9.4 seconds. That's pretty damn good. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'm going to put it in 4x2. This time I'll load up the throttle a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, that's quick. 70, 80, 90, 100. 8.66. I'd be real happy driving a big truck like this with that kind of acceleration. So that's part of it. That's a benefit. Hey, if you could hit the like and subscribe, that really helps. And also hit the notification bell so you can see future videos from the channel. Now you also can get these trucks with the 6.2 liter V8, the gasoline. That's the high output and their premium engine that they have in Denali. From what I understand, if you get the Denali, you can get the 6.2 or you can get this inline diesel for the same upgrade price. For the rest of them, it ranges, but it's about $4,800 in the Canadian market. I'll get more on that pricing towards the end. But it's not an inexpensive option, but a lot less initially than the Ford. Ford had some crazy pricing for that Powerstroke, but I think they've adjusted the pricing on that right now. All right, let's get in now to towing, hauling, all that kind of stuff that people use these trucks for. So the truck that is the towing king is the one that has the most torque at 480 pound-feet of torque. That's the new RAM Ecodiesel. It tows 12,500 pounds. Next is the Powerstroke from Ford. That has 11,500 pounds. And this truck is quite a bit lower at 9,100 pounds with 4x2. If it's 4x4, it's just under 9,000 pounds. So for whatever reason, they decided to not rate this for towing in comparison with those other trucks that are over 10, easily over 10, especially that Ram. So that's something to consider. So what I want to do now, before we get into who would buy this and what they would look for in a diesel, let's stop, let's talk about the inside and get into the high and low points of this interior, because there certainly are some high points and certainly some low points. So let's pull over now. I think you could hear with those acceleration tests that this inline 6-cylinder diesel, the Duramax, is not as quiet. It's not as quiet as I had hoped, because having had a chance to drive, especially the Ford, so quiet. At the quietest diesel I've ever driven. I thought they would do a better job with that. So that's something they could work on. Now, high and low points of the interior. This truck is just about a year or so old now. And when you look at this interior, especially the center console with the screens, and screens are so important, it looks dated, and it only came out about a year or so ago. When you consider the Ram with the huge 12-inch Uconnect screen, and Ford is going to be coming out with a new truck next year. Apparently they're going to have a big screen as well. This looks a little bit sort of Fisher-Price, if you know what I mean. Doesn't look fully baked and grown up in comparison to those other trucks. Now, it works perfectly fine. It's one of the high points, in my opinion, is the fact that it works, and it works very well. Now, just like the diesel power plants, I would put this kind of in the middle when it comes to sort of fit, finish, and refinement. Easily the Ram is number one. I mean, their interior, nobody can touch it in the pickup truck space. I find the Ford interior really cheap and full of hard plastic and not that inviting at all. I mean, they need to update that, and I think with the next one they will be. And this one is kind of in the middle. It's not as fancy as the Ram, not as Spartan as the F-150. Simple, easy layout, lots of storage and cubby holes, but the finish and the materials are good. They're not great. So a truck like this really is perfect for somebody that does a lot of driving, or you spend a lot of time in your truck, or you have concern about fuel economy. And that's where an engine like this really shines. For example, if you're somebody that's basically goes from job site to job site all day long and you're spending time in your truck, an engine like this would be fantastic because it's got loads of torque, isn't heavy on fuel, and also has the towing and payload capacity you need if you're not doing big payload and towing all the time. That's fun. It's more fun. And we are done. I didn't mention when I was driving, but this truck comes with the new 10-speed automatic transmission, and it works really, really well with this inline Duramax engine. So it has great everyday drivability, and when you drive it, you get sort of intoxicated by the torque. It's intoxicating. 460 pound-feet of torque. It gets you away quickly, great in traffic, a really nice complement to a full-size pickup truck. But you have to ask yourself, if you're a diesel sort of intender, do you like the idea of having a diesel pickup truck? Do you not need a full-size heavy-duty truck? Well, now GMC has it in this Sierra. It's not cheap, but it is a great engine. Car Cost Canada provides the dealer's cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get access to exclusive and powerful savings. The link is in the description below.